Alright guys, what's going on? So, feeling better, so that's a good thing, but all this fucking craziness in the horror community right now about Halloween ends, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna do a short video on this whole bullshit going on in a little bit. I say short. Anyone who follows my shit for any amount of time knows short for me equals fucking forever. So, I don't know. I'll try to keep it short, but just craziness going on right now. But instead of talking about that, let's talk about 2022's Hellraiser, directed by David Bruckner. Now, I've never been a fan of Hellraiser. It's just a series I've never gotten into that just never did anything for me. I like the first two movies. I think they're great films. But still, not the type of movie that I would ever just really throw on voluntarily and be like, oh, let's watch Hellraiser. Just does not do it for me at all. And I'll bring that up in the video next that I'm doing. But it just never did anything for me. So when I heard that they were doing a remake, I said, all right, like, I'll give it a shot. Like, I don't think I've ever seen past the third Hellraiser or fourth Hellraiser. Like, I know I've seen the third one. After that, I don't think I've ever seen another one. And had no desire to, really. But I said, all right, if they're going to do a new one, and David Bruckner, I enjoy some of his past stuff, let's see what they come up with. Maybe it'll change my mind a little, or kind of push me towards checking Hellraiser out again and trying to get into it. Something like that. So we open up in Serbia with Voight, the main antagonist in this one, besides the Cenobites, meets up with this woman and gets the puzzle box. And then we see them at a party in Massachusetts, and Voight tries to get this guy Joey to open the puzzle box, and he gets stabbed by a spike in the box, and then just chains come out of some portal, different dimension, and just fucking stick into him, and he disappears. And then Hellraiser title card comes up. Cool opening, like, no complaints. But we move to 6 years later, and we have Riley and her brother Matt and his boyfriend, what's his name, Colin, I think, and Nora are all living together in an apartment. And we have what the hell's her name? Yeah, Riley. I'm going to forget all these names. Riley is a recovering addict, and so is her boyfriend, Trevor. And you can tell that there's discourse between Riley and her brother, that she's been probably trying to get clean for years and slipping and back and forth, and he's trying everything he can do to try to keep her, to keep her clean. But, like, you can't keep somebody sober. And that's why I love the scene after Trevor and Riley break into the warehouse and they get the box. When she gets home drunk, and they go off on that whole argument together of him saying that you're drunk or what did you take, and that whole fight between them is so well done, because it's really realistic. Like, for anyone who has a family member or friend or themselves or anyone that's addiction or anything like that, that's fucking realistic stuff right there. Like, just, you're trying to reason with somebody that you love more than anything, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them. You don't want them to die. You don't want them to live the terrible life, and you want them to be all that they can be, and, like, everything positive in them to just come out and shine. But you can't help them. Only they can. And that's such a shit position to be in, to be completely helpless to help someone you love. And the way that argument plays out and stuff, a great scene, great performances by both the actors. I really, really like that scene. And then, in typical addict fashion, she leaves and stuff, he tells her to get out, and she gets all dramatic about it, and all right, fine, fuck, tell me I'll leave, and fuck you, get out, and she ends up leaving, because that's what a lot of addicts do, because they don't mean to, but once they feel cornered, it's kind of like you gotta lash back, and she ends up doing that. She ends up leaving the apartment. And she goes to the park, and with the puzzle box, and Matt comes and tries to find her. She takes some pills, which is another thing. Once things turn to shit, addicts will just keep on going and make it shittier just because they feel like they deserve to feel shitty and that they deserve all this hell that they're bringing on themselves. But they don't. They're just sick people. They need help. And Matt ends up coming and finds the puzzle box and ends up stabbing himself with it by accident, and he ends up disappearing. So that's what kicks off basically the whole main story here, is that the brother is missing, and now they got to figure out what happened to him and what this puzzle box has to do with everything. And we get that first scene there with the Cenobite that we see from a distance, and really cool scene. Like, very good atmosphere through this whole movie. I enjoyed the atmosphere in this whole movie. I enjoyed most of the stuff in this movie. Like, there was not much that I did not like here. Did I think this was, like, an amazing film? No. Is it something I'd watch multiple times? Like, maybe. Like, over a course of a decent amount of time. But I'd watch this again. Like, absolutely. Nothing egregiously bad at all. But nothing, like, amazingly stand out for me. So it was good. But I don't know why I'm saying this in the middle of this. Whatever, fuck you. And Trevor, when they're together, when Trevor's with Riley and they're in Trevor's apartment and they're looking at the box and she's saying the different configurations, and she gives it to Trevor and says, "Here, you try it." And he's like, "Fuck no!" Like that's me right there. And we know why he says that, later in the movie, because he is in on all this and he knows what the box does and stuff. So of course he wouldn't want to get stabbed or by it. But when you don't know that would be me. Like I say all the time, like I'm a skeptic on all this supernatural, type shit, paranormal stuff. But you tell me go into this supposedly haunted house or this abandoned asylum or touch this old relic and shit like that, there's not a fucking chance, bro. Like, get out of here. Like, just in case it is real. That's just how I am. So just hearing him say that and be like, fuck no. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, don't fuck around with old shit. Like, anything old or ancient, never fuck around with. Like, it's never gonna be good. Like, only bad shit can come from, like, ancient or old artifacts or anything. I mean, that's why do you never see 20, 30-year-olds fucking 95-year-old women? Because you don't fuck around with old shit. That's why. At all. Anything old that can just come back to bite you in the ass. That old woman that you could be fucking, she can turn into a pterodactyl and fucking just fly out the window with you. You'll never be seen again. Who knows? Not gonna happen, most likely. I'm not taking that fucking chance. I like being here on the ground. I like being where I am. Just so, I don't know. I'm rambling right now. But then we go to the lawyer and, what was her name? Serena, I think? Yeah. To the lawyer, and she starts explaining a little bit about the box and Voight and everything, and that it was locked up in there and it wasn't a shipment or anything, and it was supposed to be never retrieved, this box. And she ends up getting stabbed by the box, and the Cenobites come and take her. Good, cool stuff. Again, like, nothing phenomenal, but awesome, like, really cool stuff, awesome stuff. And then we get, this is where it started to lag for me a little bit, like around the hour mark. And this is a 2-hour movie of a reboot of a franchise I really don't care for. So for 2 hours to sit through it, it was starting to lose me a little bit in, like, the middle, like the hour mark or so, as I said. Like, basically when, like, she's reading up on the book and everything on the in the book on the puzzle box, and like that whole, like, 10-15 minutes or so, then it started picking back up for me. So it didn't lose me for too long, but it did sag a little bit, like halfway through for me. And then the box ends up, when they're leaving, ends up stabbing Nora, and she ends up, that looks awesome. When Pinhead is there and she's taking the pin out and puts it through her, and you could see the pin, like, going through and then inside of her and out, like, that looked really cool. Really, really cool scene. And then the chains coming on her and then ripping her apart, like, awesome. Really, really cool effects. It's like really cool. This whole thing with Pinhead, with having a female Pinhead. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't know. I don't. Like, I could say that up front. Who cares? and I know might anger some Pinhead slash Hellraiser fanatics or people who love that franchise, because I can't really say this from an unbiased point of view, since like I said, I'm not a fan of Hellraiser, so it's not that important to me. But they're from an alternate dimension or hell or whatever you want to call it. Who gives a fuck who's playing it? As long as it looks like an alternate dimensional being, and it looks just like Pinhead. Like, she looks great. She everything about her performance as Pinhead was great in this movie. I had no issues whatsoever. And yes, I know how iconic Doug Bradley is, and that after he left the original series, how that tanked for most people, and that he'll always be Pinhead. And I get it. But for me, it worked. Like, there was nothing about her playing Pinhead and Pinhead being portrayed by a woman that affected my feelings for this movie or that character in any way. But like I said, I can't say that unbiasedly, because if I were to hear that they were making a Halloween movie or a Friday movie, and we were getting a Michelle Myers or a Frederica Krueger or Jacqueline Voorhees, like, fucking no. Like, straight off the bat, fuck that. And that's why I say I can't say that unbiasedly, because those are franchises I adore versus one that I don't care much for. So I can totally see a Hellraiser fanatic in my place saying the same thing, saying that you can't fucking touch my fucking Pinhead. Like, are you playing my... I can see that. So I can't, like, speak for everyone. Obviously, it's my opinion. But I had no issue with it. Just don't bring us to Jacqueline Voorhees and shit one day. Like, that I don't think I can deal with. Like, it would be interesting just to see, but that I'd probably disown it after that. But looks good for Pinhead. Like, no issues at all. So then we find out that they have every person who gets taken after getting stabbed by the puzzle box is one more step towards being able to get a gift from the ruler of hell, Leviathan, and that they have two more to resurrect. And I'm so glad the Chatterer is back in here, because I'll never forget that Cenobite. Like, that's one thing from the original movie, from the first time I saw it. Just the teeth clattering and stuff like that. So cool. And I'm so glad they had that back in here. Like, I even wrote, teeth clatter, dude, yay. Like, I love the look of that Cenobite. And even though it's different in this one, it was great just to see they kept that character. Because a lot of the other Cenobites are just unique and new just for this movie. Unless they were in, sequels down the line in the original that I never saw. But they weren't in the first two that I remember. They might. Who knows? You guys know better than me if you're Hellraiser fans. I really don't think they were, though. But just to have Teeth Clatterer dude back, awesome. Then we have Trevor playing with Riley. We find out that Trevor is playing Riley and that he's working for Voight and trying to get all these people, sacrificed basically to fix basically everything that Voight fucked up. He got his gift and ended up getting this mechanism put inside of him that is tearing at his nerves and shit. Every so often it stops and gives him a little bit of a reprieve before it starts up again. So not the pleasant gift that he asked for in any shape or form, it seems like. So they're kind of like, the Cenobites here are kind of like the Jinn from Wishmaster. It's like you wish for something and then they twist that shit around just a little bit so that it's kind of what you said, but no way what you really meant. Anyone who hasn't seen Wishmaster and Wishmaster 2, absolutely watch those movies. Especially, I can't say especially because I like the second one better, but that's just me. But both of them are excellent, excellent films and are not really talked about much. But that's what it reminds me of, like the Jinn from Wishmaster. When the girl's like, oh, I want to be beautiful forever. And then he's done. And he turns around and she's just a mannequin. So she'll always be beautiful because she'll always be a mannequin. Like, that type of shit. Like, that's what it reminded me of. And then we have Voight, who I love some of Pinhead's dialogue in this. Like, when she's saying that gifts can't be ungiven. They can only be exchanged. And stuff. Just her voice in this and the way she delivers the lines. I loved it. Like I said, no issues with her acting in this at all, or her portrayal of Pinhead. And then Riley ends up stabbing Trevor, and that makes it the last sacrifice. And then Voight and Trevor are taken. Voight gets the little mechanism, falls off of him, and he thinks that he's good for like a minute or two, and he heals up and everything. Then we have just a chain shoot out from the ceiling into him and just brings him away. And what a cool shot that is, with him just being held up by the chain and being brought up slowly, like through the roof. Awesome, awesome stuff. Like, really cool. And then Riley has a choice, and she chooses, even though they're trying to manipulate her, and you'll get Matt back, you'll get your brother back. She realizes that it's never going to work out that way, that you're going to twist everything that I try to do. And she's seen it happen with Voight, and she knows what's going to happen if she tries. But that is so tempting, man. I mean, it is. Like, for anyone who's lost somebody so close to them, being so close to a possibility, even if it all sounds bullshit, even if it sounds like the most fucking corrupt, like, evil, unbelievable shit imaginable, there's still a part of most people that would still try it, that would still do anything just to see that person they love again, even if it's just for a moment. And I think that's a pretty damn good statement made here that everybody can relate to. Like, her having to make a choice between seeing her brother again, which we know and she knows is not going to turn out like he's just going to appear back and they're going to go back to the fucking apartment and they're going to live a happy life. You know it ain't going to end up that way. But just with that temptation that there's that tiny percentage of possibility, that's fucking tough, man, to be in that situation. And you can see why people would make that choice, because who wouldn't think about making that choice in that situation? I don't know. To me, it's a really cool how they did that whole scene at the end, with just trying to manipulate her to make her choice, and she ends up just not choosing. And that had to be hard as shit, just to let go of your brother and all the friends and shit that's happened, and everything that's happened here, and just let go of him and realize that he's gone. I can't get him back. Like, even with all your fucking evil bullshit, it ain't bringing him back. And she chooses nothing. She chooses to do nothing. And her and Colin get to walk off and survive. And I think it's a great, great ending for this movie. And then we see fucking Voight, which, what great effects. Like I said, even if it's CGI heavy a bit, like, it still looks fucking awesome. When he's basically, I guess he's being turned into a new Cenobite, is what I took from it. And everything, skin's being ripped off and just awesome stuff. So is that what happened? I'm guessing that's what happened. Like, he's turned into a new Cenobite because he chose power as the gift that they say. So I guess that's what happened, is he became a new Cenobite. But yeah, all in all, for, like I said, for a franchise I never cared for, a remake of it, great movie. Like I said, nothing amazing or phenomenal, mind-blowing, or, oh shit, I enjoyed the shit out of this. But it was a great watch. I really enjoyed it. But, alright, I'm going to have a video up on this whole bullshit with Halloween Ends in a little bit. And like I said, hope to keep it short. But, alright guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Take it.